I'm Marcel.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Very good, thank you.
So let me just begin by asking you, what are your expectations from the session today? What are you looking to get out of this session?
Okay, I want to improve myself, and I think I want to get better in dynamic thinking.
Okay. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, so I want to pursue a career like very innovation focused,
Right.
and I think I'm good in creating ideas, but I want to excel in it. So I want to be able to be more creative in any situation, and come up with good ideas and take like really I don't know see good ideas in other people's communication as well.
Okay. So if I understand correctly, you have a creative penchant in the way you think, and this is something that you want to apply in your career going forward. This is something you want to be thinking on your toes at all times. You want to be creative, and you want to bring an element of innovation in your work life. Not only in your work life, but everywhere you go. So, is that a fair statement?
I think that you could say that. I guess it's more important right now for me focusing on my more professional life. Yeah.
So let's look at a situation in the near future.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say in the next few weeks, how will we establish your approach to innovation professionally? What would that look like to you?
Okay, in the next week I'm not employed by the new company or something, but I'm still here at heart. Let's see what I, on a professional scale, have happened there. I need to start with a research paper.
You would start on the research paper,
Yeah, and I have a graduation speech coming up
right?
that I already wrote, but I still have to I'm not 100% confident with that.
Okay.
So I work on that. I have to come up with a final place in San Francisco. Okay, that's more private life, but
Can we?
I think these two things like go into my academic but also professional life.
Would you want to? Let's explore the graduation speech that's coming up,
Okay.
because that's something that's in the next few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
What's your opinion on how you are prepared? What would a successful graduation speech look like for you? And can you just talk on that point?
Sure. So I think a successful graduation speech would be if I go down from the podium and people are clapping and cheering because they had a funny but happy and also deep experience while hearing my speech.
Okay. And what have you done so far, and what will you be doing to make sure that this is the reality? This is how we. What are the options that will lead you to this eventuality?
I think it comes down to the content of the speech itself. So I drafted a speech. I had to apply for that, and today I got the good news that they want me to speak as a graduation speaker.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And so it comes down to the content, but as well as to my speaking performance, obviously.
Yeah.
I think the best combination of that is the result in a good what's the speech?
Okay. So let's just think of some options right now. How can you do this in the most efficient manner? What would be the best options that you can explore to make sure that this is an astounding success?
What are options I could take?
And any specific approach to
Mhm.
this speech that what would be the nature of the research that you do just to get you thinking? I know you've already started work on the speech since you had to make a video. So how do we build on that and make sure that this is a resounding success?
So I think to make sure that I perform well and the content is good at the moment of happening, I have to rehearse. So probably a rehearsal with a selected group of friends would at first put me in the awkward position of presenting in front of them,
Of course.
and therefore helping me prepare for the presentation. And I could check how some people react to the content, to the actual speech.
How many rehearsals do you think you need? How many iterations in the first speech would you need before you think you are ready for the final thing?
Oh, that's a tough one for me because I'm actually very good without rehearsal. Sometimes better. But yeah, I don't want to risk anything, so I definitely want to rehearse that a few times. Probably a couple of times by my own and one time in front of a group of people.
Okay, so that means 3 times in total. You want to rehearse at least 3 times before the final speech. And is there something that you can do to make sure that you follow up on these rehearsals and iterate and make your speech the best one you can?
I can ask my friends if they want to rehearse with me.
And how will you know that you are on the right path?
I think from the feedback, so I'll definitely ask my friends to give honest, straightforward feedback about how they liked it.
Okay.
Of course, I will see during the whole of the speech how they will react to the puns and the content. So, yeah, I guess if they give me good feedback that is honest, then I know I will be prepared.
Let's quickly wrap this up. Are there any challenges that you foresee in the next few weeks that will stop you from actually going through with the rehearsal plan and getting the feedback?
Well, I feel uncomfortable presenting in front of friends more than in front of strangers. So, yeah, and of course it's like calling out a favor from friends, but I can do that. I think the action itself is doable. So if I start out asking friends, okay, when do you have time for that, and bring them together at a certain point. Yeah.
So essentially, there's nothing too challenging that you'll face, or nothing that's stopping you from going through with this plan and delivering the speech that you want to. So, from what I understand, you're on the right path. You just need to make sure that you work hard, you put in the time and effort that you have to reach out to the right people, get their feedback, and iterate and make things better. And I'm sure you will do a spectacular job on the 8th of August.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you for the conversation.
Thank you.
Right. That was 7 minutes.
Sorry?
That was 8 minutes.
Was that just 7 or 8 minutes?
Yeah.
That's alright. You have plenty of way too long
Yeah.
sessions, I guess.
All right. So you started as usual. Marcel, what are your expectations? He speaks about his career. You ask him, can he elaborate? Marcel speaks about his career, how he wants to be more creative, good ideas, and see good ideas in others. You ask him, you try to dig in deeper, right, about what he means. So, is it you try to summarize or draw out the actual meaning of what he's saying, creative tension. You see, thinking of it. You're asking him if he wants to be thinking on his toes always and have that element of innovation in everything that he does, right? Yeah, more or less. Then you ask, trying to pin down specifics in the future. How would he establish that routine of innovation, right? Of course, you both try to take it from the abstract because there's no pragmatic or practicality to how you actualize it now or in the near future, or. So the conversation turns to his research paper and the graduation speech. You ask him what would success in the graduation speech look like. To be honest, from this point on, the coaching session kind of stagnates, and I think you're struggling because to grapple with what he's saying and fix it in a format that's identifiable that you can break it down into the role model. I think it becomes kind of a challenge for you, right? So you ask him, what would success look like? Preparations, how many rehearsals, how many iterations, right? Here both of you kind of struggle. You know, he doesn't really have a problem with preparing when it comes to graduation speeches and stuff. You know, if it's a matter of what environment he's comfortable in, if his friends and family are there, then it's of course better, right? You, in the absence of any challenges, you say, well, since you don't seem to find any challenges with this particular train of thought or the flow of the conversation, right? Then we believe he's on the right path, and all he has to do is reach out to the right people. And so, to be honest, it was a kind of a lazy coaching session. It was like you kind of run out of steam and ideas, and there were a lot of. You've coached Marcel before, right? So,
The issue was
Mhm.
not so. I think I was just supposed to back him up on his endeavors, and while this was not something that's
this is
very
how you approached it.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was just me helping him out, or me being a point of support, because
Mm.
it's not something very pressing or something that's so important right now. That's
Mm.
it's important. It most definitely is, but it's not
But
something
you know,
that's
I
groundbreaking.
think it's the direction that
It's a
you
simple.
kind of steered the interview, right? Because in the beginning,
The point
when you
was
ask him what is it that's foremost on his mind, right?
right?
He says it's about finding how to excel and to be more creative and to see good ideas in others. Now, don't forget, as a coaching manager, right? You're almost like a therapist or a professional therapist. You kind of steer the direction to which the conversation goes. Now, if you recall my conversation with him, I said, I want to find a way to be objective. This is as abstract can be, right? But he kept guiding the conversation and digging deeper until something went from abstract and just kept kind of swirling around until it created kind of like a vortex where, hey,
And that's
there
that
will
was
be some
actually
things you can chart things out.
that was
And that's
on
kind of
that
like what
point.
happened. He came with, I'm trying to be more creative or more innovative. And then the session ended up with, well, you don't have any problem preparing for your speech or rehearsal or iterations, so you're fine and keep reaching out to it. Can you see like the
No, that's
missed
there's a
opportunities?
contrast. There's a contrast,
Mhm.
and the whole point of this discussion was to have a goal, immediate near-term goal,
Mhm.
that if he has any issue, or maybe just discuss it to see if I can help him think through it. So the first discussion, the first coaching session was more, as I said, it was more philosophical. This was pretty straightforward. It was about something that he has to do. So it's the nature of the conversation.
No, but then that's what I'm saying.
No,
As a coach and manager, right? You guide the conversation.
no,
Because it's like the conversation starts like this, right? And then as the coaching, the coacher, right? The coach, you try to put it in a funnel and narrow it down and narrow it down and narrow it down, right? He started about talking about he wants to be more innovative and more creative, right?
Mhm.
And the funnel you narrowed it down to led to, okay, what is it that you have in front of you right now? And it was, I have a graduation speech coming up, right?
And that's the
You
whole
could
point.
have, you
isn't
could
it?
have, yeah, but you could have funneled it into, because he spoke about the content, right? When he said, well, so there are a lot of jewels for you to pick. When it's the content, it's like, okay, then, what content? What is it that you want to speak about? Do you want to speak about business models? You want to speak about innovation? You want to speak about startups? Is there any
Then again, these would
business
be
modules that you
close-ended
think
questions. I would have to. I asked him about what a successful speech would. I think there's no point in digging deep into the content that he would be speaking about. Then we would be getting into the specifics. This is more about from the class that we have today. I realize that it's more about what he wants to speak about. It's I cannot be I can direct the
Well,
conversation.
anyway,
but
as a coach, of course, you have your own
Style,
purview. So,
yeah.
you have your own style, you know. So just my observation, my feedback
Of
is,
course,
yeah, the session ended with no goal.
the goal was
No.
his graduation speech, wasn't it?
Well, what? Yeah.
A successful graduation speech. That was the goal.
Okay. So was there any what model came out of it? Was there any action? Because the last thing you said literally is you're on the right path. In the absence of any challenges, you're on the right path. All you have to do is reach out to the right people. And
He explored it. He was the one who came up with the. He was the one who came up with the solution, and that's what I guess the whole coaching session is all about. To help him figure out.
Alright, that's just my feedback. So I don't know if you have anything to add.
I felt I had the action was then the talking to my friends, like actually pinpointing them down and asking them, hey, can I rehearse in front of you? And then like gathering that group of people for this rehearsal in front of them. That was the action. So out of my perspective, if I may, I agree with you. Like after establishing the goal of successful graduation speech, there were good questions like, okay, how would it look like in the success? What is it about the content and the speaker? But I also agree with you. Like you kind of you steered the conversation in the way that you said, okay, let's talk about the graduation speech then. Maybe that wasn't because it's not the biggest challenge. Maybe there was another challenge. Maybe the paper would be more important for me out of an innovation perspective.
I understand that, but I did not want to bring up the paper again because I think, or maybe it's on you. It's not my choice. But we have had a discussion on that paper, so I wanted to explore something new.
It's not about A or two, sorry for interrupting. Right. It's about, so my issue was the dynamic thinking, right, and innovation creation. So then like maybe something, if you ask me, would be helpful, okay, what was the situation where you were, had the feeling, oh my God, you were very innovative, or you had exactly that moment. And it's more about the method. It's more about how I come to innovation. What does that mean to me? And then where was that again? And how can I reapply that to next situations? Okay. And you kind of jump through these two questions and said, okay, what are next situations where it comes to? And then how can we make these situations possible? Okay. It's not about making the situations possible. It could be, from my perspective, more about the how to apply this methodology of being innovative.
Okay.
But that is just an idea out of my perspective.
I feel like I wish you would have given him feedback because you're so much better at giving feedback. I feel like if you had given him the feedback, he would. But he would get the salient points.
Nevertheless, it was for me a valuable coaching session because now I know I really have to do that rehearsal, and I feel more now accountable to reach out to the friends and do that. So even though it didn't tackle the big issue I wanted to focus on first. It did tackle something that is valuable for me, and it helped me getting there. And that's so the coaching session is a success. Yeah, and that's what it's about.
I feel like you kind of
kept
used
it very simple this time, and
I think you used the model of because we did the coaching on the move, right? So I kind of feel like that's what you did. Like maybe along the way you felt like, well, this doesn't have to be an elaborate coaching session. It doesn't have to be all the time dig deep. Is that what happened?
Yeah. Again, it's more about the subject matter that we are discussing, and the subject matter was if he's if we would have talked about how he could be innovative, then that's a very broad topic, and then we could have dug deep and actually come up with some ideas on how he can be more innovative in his career in the future. But then I thought that this is more about some short-term goals that we have, and that's why I asked what are his immediate short-term goals, and that's where we came upon the two objectives or two possible goals that we have. One being the research paper, which we already discussed, and we could have discussed again if Marcel wanted to, but that's where I actually sort of stopped. And but I guess that was. That was a good session.
Yeah.